I'm just whipping up a little version of quick and easy chili. I'm going to use some ground turkey. This is 16 ounces, but I'm only going to be using half of it for the chili because I have beans that I'm going to be adding in for the other protein. But the other part of this, I'll be using in a different recipe. Stretching that budget, you know. All right, so I have to work in about 30 minutes. This isn't going to take very long. But I figured I would also just pop on here to give you all an update on the situation with my medication. So the Zepbound that is no longer covered by my insurance. So I was looking at options for compounded pharmacies. Also, of course, there's the Lilly Direct, which is way beyond my my budget. There's no way. Um, and then a lot of the compound telehealth pharmacies, you know, they have where per month it works out pretty reasonably, $100 or $200, you know, in that range per month. But you have to buy more than 1 month, which again, that's just completely beyond my uh, means. So I was having a conversation with my local primary care provider about this, and she recommended that I get in touch with a local compounding pharmacy that she knew of and some of her patients have used. And so I did, and it's quite reasonable. And I only have to do 1 month at a time. And now there's some pros and cons. My my weight loss has slowed down in tempo for the past month. So from the middle of May to the middle of June, I lost 2 pounds. So I was down to 248.8 today. So that's exactly 2 pounds in a month. And I know it still technically falls within the healthy weight loss of a half a pound to 2 pounds a week. Um, but the month before that, I had lost 4, and um, and that was also on 5 milligrams. And you know, it's just been a slow loss for me anyway since the start, which is fine. But this feels like extra slow. So I had the conversation with my primary care provider about increasing to 7.5. Well, so when all this came up with having to switch from brand to compound, we had another conversation because even though technically it's the same medication, active ingredients of Tirzepatide, it's a new source of the medication. So that we're going to stay at the 5 milligrams for this month, just during that adjustment period. Well, not this month, but when I get the medication, maybe in a couple of weeks, which is another thing. For 1 month of the 5 milligram compounded, it's about $154. For 1 month of the 7.5, it goes up to like $240. which is going to require a lot more planning. Oh, all right, let's turn this down a little bit. So just have the ground turkey in here, half a pound. This one's cooked up. Um, because the $153 for the 5 milligrams compounded from the local pharmacy. Um, so like I can swing that even if I had to do like a payday loan, like with good terms, just so I don't have a gap between when I take my last Zepbound, which is coming up, and when I need to start, the compounded. All right, so this is a bean trio from a can mixed with a can of Rotel chili. I had this already combined because I had used a scoop of it with something else. So that's why we're turning this into chili. We're just going to add that. So also regarding the tolerability of the compounded, this pharmacy does add B12 to the compounded Tirzepatide, which means I will probably be changing when I take my dose, because currently I take my dose in the evening. And with that B12, I'm thinking that might end up disrupting my ability to fall asleep. So I'm going to take that earlier in the day, morning-ish. I have a weird schedule, but earlier in the day for me. Yeah, so it's good news in that at least there's like a potential option where I won't have to stop the medication, and see how the 5 milligram compounded Tirzepatide goes, since that's what my body is accustomed to currently, and then look at the 7.5, after that, see how it goes. And yeah, I think that's the update. Just gonna let the beans and the tomatoes and the chilies and the meat kind of do their thing here, covered on, it's like a medium low. And I like to have these with tostadas. If you don't know about these, let me tell you. These are the best. These are the smaller ones, Guerrero tostadas. And one tostada is 60 calories, 3 grams of fat, 80 milligrams of sodium, 7.5 grams of carbohydrates, 1 gram of fiber, and 1 gram of protein. But they are made of corn, which makes them gluten-free for an option people who have gluten sensitivities. So I'll just have like a scoop of this chili, the tostada, in the bowl, kind of like taco chips, but healthier version and less sodium. And or if you make your own tortilla chips, right on. And then I'll put like a dollop of Greek yogurt on top of the chili in the bowl. So as usual, at the end of this, I will have a card that shows all of the nutrition ingredients, statistics, and stuff that went into this. But yeah, so I'd be curious to know if anybody who went from brand name to compounded, did you stay on the same dose during that transition, or did you increase like what maybe your original plan was if you had stayed on the branded? And like how did that transition go? Did you find a difference or not? It would be interesting for everybody to kind of share that knowledge, and I sure am curious. how that went, how that experience went for you. All right. Um, this is heating. I need to get my desk set up for work. And thanks for tuning in midweek, and I'll see you all soon. Take care. Bye.